Note to Jimmy Kimmel, not only would Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband make quick work of you, but Rep. MTG herself would make quick work of you. Kimmel would not last too long if he were interested in engaging in unprovoked, terrible violence against this congresswoman. After processing the fact that someone called the police on me, believe it or not, this has never happened to me in my life. I tweeted back, I wrote, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke." This woman, you may remember, she's the one who endorsed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of.
In the next few minutes, you're gonna see how a simple joke turned into a political firestorm. We're talking police calls, presidential insults, and one comedian who's not backing down. Stick around to find out how Jimmy Kimmel's turning this bizarre situation into comedy gold, and why his ratings are soaring because of it. This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Alright folks, buckle up because we're about to take a wild ride through the land of thin-skinned politicians and comedy emergencies. You know things are getting weird when a member of Congress decides to dial 911 over a joke. That's right, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the queen of conspiracy theories, apparently thought the best way to handle a zinger from Jimmy Kimmel was to call in the cavalry. So what was this earth-shattering, law-breaking quip that had MTG reaching for her phone? Kimmel dared to ask, "Where is Will Smith when you need him?" Now, if you're scratching your head wondering how that's a crime, join the club. It seems MTG missed the memo that comedy isn't listed in the penal code. Picture this. MTG, red-faced and fuming, frantically punching those 3 digits on her phone.
On our show Tuesday night, MTG, Clan Mom as we call her, earlier in the day, called 3 of her fellow Republicans pro-pedophile for supporting Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination. After processing the fact that someone called the police on me, believe it or not, this has never happened to me in my life. I tweeted back, I wrote, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke." If she's gonna report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police, I'll go to the Justice League.
Hello, 911? I'd like to report a comedy emergency. Someone made a joke about me, and I demand justice. You can almost hear the dispatcher trying to stifle their laughter on the other end of the line. But here's the kicker. This isn't just any run-of-the-mill politician we're talking about. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, the same person who's given us such greatest hits as Jewish space lasers and, well, let's just say a whole lot of other eyebrow-raising statements. You'd think someone with her track record of outrageous claims would have thicker skin, but apparently not. Now, let's imagine for a second what would happen if the police actually took this seriously. Would they dust for fingerprints on the punchline? Maybe bring in the laugh track for questioning? Sir, can you tell us where you were on the night of the joke? The absurdity of it all is enough to make your head spin. Kimmel, being the comedian he is, couldn't resist poking more fun at the situation. He joked that if politicians could arrest comedians for jokes, half of Saturday Night Live would be behind bars. Can you imagine a world where every politician who got their feelings hurt could sick the cops on comics? We'd have more comedians in jail than actual criminals. But here's the real punchline, folks. MTG's attempt to silence comedy didn't just fall flat, it backfired spectacularly. Instead of shutting Kimmel up, she handed him comedy gold on a silver platter. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline, except in this case, the fire is laughter and the gasoline is, well, MTG's hurt feelings.
She tweets. After she saw it, she tweeted, "ABC contacts my employer. This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police." She called the police. Note to Jimmy Kimmel, not only would Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband make quick work of you, but Rep. MTG herself would make quick work of you. Kimmel would not last too long if he were interested in engaging in unprovoked, terrible violence against this congresswoman. Well, that's nice. She thinks I have fans. I guess that's good. But now listen, not only don't I condone death or any kind of threats against anyone, especially since I get dozens of them a week myself.
Well, folks, it looks like the comedy club just got a new critic, and boy, is he a doozy. The king of self-praise himself, Donald Trump, decided to join the roast party, but when he tried to dunk on Kimmel, he ended up scoring a big fat 0. Trump, feeling left out of the spotlight, couldn't resist throwing his 2 cents into the Kimmel MTG drama. He called Jimmy Kimmel a failed comedian. Now, that's rich coming from a guy whose idea of humor is about as funny as a root canal. It's like a tone-deaf karaoke singer critiquing Beyonce. You almost want to pat him on the head and say, "Oh, honey, no." Let's take a stroll down memory lane, shall we? During his presidency, Trump's attempts at humor were about as smooth as a cat trying to ice skate. He'd often try to crack jokes by praising himself and then waiting for applause.
This afternoon, she wrote, "You weren't joking. You hide your misogyny and your racism behind your jokes on ABC. This was a dog whistle to the violent left to assault me or worse." And you're misspelled "you're," of course. Hey, you know, all these crazy people in Congress, all of these low IQ individuals in Congress right now, there's one guy who's responsible for that, and that's Donald Trump. Compute this woman, you may remember, she's the one who endorsed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of.
Talk about awkward. It was like watching a clown perform at a funeral. You know something's supposed to be funny, but all you feel is uncomfortable. Now, compare that to Kimmel's successful career in late-night TV. While Trump was busy turning the White House into a bad sitcom, Kimmel was actually making people laugh. Night after night, he's been dishing out jokes that land, unlike Trump's attempts at humor, which usually crash and burn faster than you can say "kofef."
Keep wearing a mask. Well, Senator Cruz replied to this. That was not written to him. Bizarre. 535 members of Congress can attend the State of the Union without wearing masks. Still not good enough for Hollywood.
First, new evidence tonight that we, you, the American people, all of us, we were all lied to.
Frankly, we did win this election.
We were lied to by Joe Biden.
Obama, amnesty. Amnesty, Obama, amnesty.
What kind of president needs a no card to answer a basic and predictable question?
So how did our late-night hero respond to this presidential put-down? In true Kimmel fashion, he fired back with a zinger that probably left Trump reaching for the aloe vera. Jimmy said, "I'm just glad to know that I'm living rent-free in your head, Donald. Keep watching." Ouch, that's gotta sting more than a bad spray tan. But here's the kicker. Folks, this comedy war isn't just about who can land the best punchline. It's got a serious side too. Political satire plays a crucial role in our democracy. It's not just about getting laughs. It's about holding those in power accountable. Comedians like Kimmel use humor as a form of resistance against oppressive figures. They're like modern-day court jesters, speaking truth to power with a smile and a wink. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite late-night host, Jimmy Kimmel, has hit the jackpot, and he didn't even need to buy a lottery ticket. Every time MTG and Trump throw a tantrum over his jokes, Kimmel's ratings shoot through the roof. It's like they're his personal cheerleading squad, minus the pom-poms and enthusiasm. Who knew that political outrage could be such a ratings booster? Maybe we should start sending thank you cards to politicians for their thin skin. At this rate, Kimmel might want to consider hiring Trump and MTG as his unofficial publicity team. They're doing a better job at promoting his show than any ad campaign ever could. So remember, folks, in America, we've got the right to laugh at our leaders, even if it makes them cry into their MAGA hats. And hey, if laughter is the best medicine, maybe we should start prescribing stand-up specials instead of civics lessons. Now that's what I call a punchline for politics.